Neon rivers of light bleed across 26 lanes of asphalt as 37 million people surge through modern Shinjuku. You're standing at the absolute busiest intersection on Earth, suffocated by the smell of diesel, coffee, and ozone. A bullet train screams beneath your feet at 200 miles per hour, perfectly synchronized to the exact microsecond. Yet beneath this hyper-efficient glass megalopolis lies a dark ghost world built on mud, blood, and absolute historic annihilation. The entire history of Tokyo, presented by Evolvera Studio. The year is 1457. Cold salt spray stings your face as you stand on a desolate, swampy marshland. The air smells of rotting reeds and low-tide mud. This forgotten place is Edo, the Gate of Inlet. There are no grand palaces here, only isolated wetlands and a tiny cluster of primitive huts near brackish waters. Impoverished fishermen scrape a brutal living from the sea, completely unaware of the massive metropolis that will rise here. A local samurai warlord named Oda Doken surveys this bleak, empty landscape with a cold, strategic, calculating eye. Doken does not see a useless swamp. He sees an impregnable fortress capable of controlling the entire eastern coast. Hundreds of peasants, backs bent under heavy timber, dig massive trenches into the mud to reshape the wild delta. They're creating a monumental moat system, aggressively diverting the flow of the powerful, unpredictable local Tone River. Doken constructs a crude stone castle on a hill, the exact site where the Grand Imperial Palace stands today. Doken constructs a crude stone castle on a hill, the exact site where the Grand Imperial Palace stands today. The fledgling fortress falls into total obscurity for over a century, remaining a forgotten outpost in a broken nation. Yet, the vital geography is set. The empty stage is waiting for a man ruthless enough to conquer Japan. A terrifying leader rises from the ashes of war, destined to turn this muddy outpost into an imperial capital. Drums thunder through the air as Tokugawa Ieyasu claims the absolute title of shogun, supreme military ruler of Japan. He completely ignores the ancient capital of Kyoto, declaring the booming, muddy frontier town of Edo his power seat. You see a city transforming at a forced pace. Laborers blast away Kanda Mountain using black powder explosives. Massive carts wheel the excavated earth down to fill the marshes, creating flat land for modern-day luxury districts. To prevent dangerous rebellion, the shogun institutes a psychological masterpiece of absolute control called the Sankin Kotai hostage system. Every regional warlord must spend every alternate year living in Edo directly under the shogun's strict, watchful eye. When they return home, they must leave their wives and heirs behind as permanent, highly vulnerable political hostages. When they return home, they must leave their wives and heirs behind as permanent, highly vulnerable political hostages. By 1721, this massive influx of hostages makes Edo the largest city on Earth, surpassing London and Paris. Because of the heavy military presence, nearly 70% of the population is male, creating a wild society. A booming, hedonistic entertainment industry of beautiful geishas, kabuki theaters, and sumos forms the iconic floating world. But this wooden metropolis is a dangerous tinderbox. A lone, glowing spark drifts from a dark neighborhood chimney. A gale-force winter wind howls through narrow wooden alleys, carrying the suffocating, terrifying smell of rapid ash. The legendary Furisode fire ignites as a cursed silk kimono catches a fierce wind during a temple cremation. You are running through streets turned into literal furnaces. The fire moves faster than a galloping horse tonight. Panic turns into a brutal massacre at the Asakusa Gate as guards refuse to open the heavy doors. Over 100,000 people burn alive or drown in the freezing river in less than 48 hours. More than 60% of the world's greatest city is reduced to nothing but smoldering black charcoal dust. Before the ashes cool, the shogun orders wide avenues to act as fire breaks and open fire-extinguishing public plazas. Tokyo's modern, highly organized block-based grid system is born directly from the tragic flames of its greatest disaster. The city solidifies, but in 1853, 4 massive black-hulled American steam warships steam directly into peaceful Edo Bay. Local fishermen fall to their knees, absolutely terrified by what they think are giant, fire-breathing sea monsters. Commodore Matthew Perry points heavy cannons at the shogun's palace, demanding Japan open trade or face annihilation. The geopolitical shockwave triggers a brutal civil war as traditional samurai factions clash violently against imperial modernization forces. Furious at the shogun's quick capitulation to foreigners, rebel samurai launch a bloody coup using modern Western rifles. In 1868, the shogunate collapses forever. The teenage Emperor Meiji moves his imperial court directly into Edo. He renames the city Tokyo, the eastern capital. Overnight, traditional samurai topknots are chopped off across the nation. Heavy wool suits replace silk kimonos. Citizens eagerly eat beef stew, breaking a 1,000-year Buddhist religious taboo. Gas lamps illuminate grand brick buildings designed by British architects. Tokyo sprints from medieval to industrial shockingly fast. Then, the earth liquefies. It is exactly 11:58 a.m. on September 1st, 1923. Clocks stop instantly. The Great Kanto earthquake hits with a horrific magnitude. Roads buckle and concrete buildings collapse into massive dust. Because it is lunchtime, thousands of stoves flip over, igniting a sea of fire as refugees flee blindly. A freak 300-foot-tall fire tornado sweeps through Honjo Depot, incinerating 38,000 trapped people in 15 minutes. The cataclysm kills 140,000 people, leaving 2 million homeless in a vast, smoldering wasteland. Amidst horror, Tokyo modernizes, utilizing the massive reconstruction effort to build its very first subterranean network subway line. But its most horrific trial arrives on March 9, 1945, as American bombers fill the freezing sky. 300 B-29 bombers drop napalm, turning 16 square miles of Tokyo into a blinding orange nightmare. The extreme heat reaches 1,800 degrees, boiling the city canals alive and vaporizing over 100,000 civilians. By August, Japan surrenders. Tokyo is a flat post-war landscape of twisted metal, brick chimneys, and utter despair. The world holds its breath as the 1964 Tokyo Olympics begin in a magnificent rebuilt modern stadium. A Hiroshima atomic bomb survivor lights the Olympic flame, proudly signaling to the entire world that Japan is back. The ultra-futuristic white Shinkansen bullet train glides past Mount Fuji, establishing a global standard for high-speed transit infrastructure. During the booming 1980s, Tokyo becomes the financial capital of the planet, generating astronomical real estate wealth. The skyline transforms into a neon-drenched, futuristic masterpiece, solidifying the hyper-advanced metropolis we recognize across the world today. Tokyo is a living paradox, a resilient city systematically leveled by fire, earthquakes, and bombs, yet always rising higher. Modern Tokyo's ultra-polite, hyper-efficient, quiet identity is a psychological shield forged from centuries of surviving absolute, unpredictable chaos. Thank you for watching. What part of Tokyo's survival story shocked you most? Let us know below. Please hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and join Evolvera Studio for our next epic historical journey.